atmosphere. If you didn't think we were serious about tweaking and figuring out the best way to do this while y'all learn the Google Suite, then we've proved that that was true. So we want to talk more about your Google site today, and we're going to kind of back up and ask you to look at that site a little bit differently. The long-range goal for our even using the Google Sites in this little class, if you will, is that eventually, and let's say this probably doesn't apply to you, eventually we want students to have an academic portfolio, stuff that they have created, even as far down as 3rd grade. Kathy, I don't know if you can see that young students using a portfolio, but we want that opportunity there no later than 6th grade. Our Tech App teachers are responsible for having every 6th grader make a digital portfolio. So what we want teachers through the district to be able to do is help kids add stuff to their portfolio, kind of keep a scrapbook. You know, we don't want them to put everything they do in there, but help them decide what kinds of things go there. Help them work through some of the issues that y'all have worked through this week. You know, what does it need to look like? How does it need to be organized and arranged? And so our long-range goal is that you be familiar enough with Google Sites that you could help a student continue to use their academic portfolio and help a student create one if they missed the 6th grade, you know, opportunity to make one, or they just don't have one for some reason. So that's the long-range goal, and that was sort of, we were looking past the moment when we started talking about that. So we're going to try to back up a little bit and get you to revisit if necessary. Some of you don't need to. Some of you were thinking ahead of us, and we're going to look at some sites that really were, you read our minds better than we read them ourselves. We want you to look at your site and tweak it to be something that would be useful to you in the classroom. That may include some digital professional portfolio stuff, but we really want it to be something that is useful to you. And Leslie, this may be something that's useful to you and your co-teachers, you and your campus, whoever your community is. We want this Google site to be useful. So that said, we're going to spend some more time on our sites today. Manel's going to walk you through some things that you may have been curious about already, you may have looked at already, and show you some ways to tweak it. We're going to look at Kathy's site in particular. We're going to look at Lisa Oliver's site because they came up with some things that even we didn't think about, and it's really important for you to see other people's viewpoints. So we're going to talk about that, and then for next week we're going to get you to tweak your page a little bit. We're going to get you to add a page to your site that will house all of these items that you're making. So the Google Doc that you made this past week, the Google Sheet that you're going to work on from today on, we're going to ask you to make a page on your Google site that will house those things and kind of clear up some of that confusion that we created last week. So Manel's going to talk a little bit more about sites, and we are going to leave some time today for questions, for issues. I would encourage you to be sure and call us and let us come sit with you. We went to Crossland. We hung out with Kim Dove this week. We went to Acton Elementary and just sat down and really picked through some things. We worked with Kathy over the phone. But I know also that there were folks in our group who were dazed and confused and didn't call. They just tried to muddle their way through and struggle through it, and we don't want to create that kind of stress and chaos. So don't hesitate to call. We'll meet you early. We'll come eat lunch with you. We'll come hang out in your conference time if you want to give that up. We'll come after school. We just don't want to create any more chaos than we already have. So Manel's going to talk to you a little bit about some of the things.
We're going to look at Kathy and Lisa first.
And we're going to look at Kathy and Lisa's sites also. So Manel's going to drive a little bit. We're going to share screens. And Danielle, is that you?
It's Johnny's.
Oh, it's Johnny's. Okay. I can't see my screen. Okay. I can't get you in the right level on my bifocals to be able to see you.
She didn't get that yet.
I know.
Okay, so I'm going to give a whirl here to sharing my screen with you, and it may make you dizzy for just a second because it does all this weird stuff at the beginning, but then you'll be able to see it.
Like down the rabbit hole for a few minutes.
Yeah, it's kind of weird looking for a second, but okay.
Whoa.
So I know. So the first thing I want to do is show you. We're going to look at Kathy's site that she did first. And so she just put a welcome. She did a about me with a little bit of her education and certification information. And then down below that, she went with a Google portfolio and made sub-pages under there for week 1. And she did something, we learned something from hers that was cool. She, instead of attaching her doc, excuse me, she inserted it. And so the doc actually shows up on the website. Now, you can't go in here, the kids couldn't go in here and add something on this, but they could go into that Google Doc, and when they made a change on it, then when you go back to this web page, when Kathy first showed it to us, it had this historical fiction book in here, and then she went in and on that Google Doc in her drive added these 2 books. We refreshed this website and those showed up. So if her kids were adding things, then they'd go to the website, the things that the additions they made would be there. So that's kind of a cool little thing that we didn't know about that we learned from Kathy.
What I like about Kathy's page, one of the things that really caught my attention, Kathy really married the 2 ideas of the digital portfolio and the making it useful for what we're doing in this Google Hangout class. She's got the about me, she's got the education certifications. That's more of the portfolio idea that we were talking about, but then she added a page to be useful just for what we're doing here. After we're through with this class, she can go back and take out the Google portfolio part or add to, but she's got it organized to accommodate both of the ideas that we didn't communicate very clearly last week. So that really caught my attention, and she read our minds. So I think that's a really great idea.
Yeah. So and also going in and looking at everybody's, you're going to get ideas of ways that you want to change yours, maybe improve it. Oh, that's a cool idea. I could do this. So go in and take a minute to look at everybody else's. Lisa's. Lisa did a little bit the same. She did an About Me page, and then she chose an Academy blog, and so she's going to go here with week 1 and is just going to put a little bit about what she learned each week. She also went in under the Academy portfolio and she put 2 sub-pages. One is a Google Doc and one is a Google Sheet. So you can click on those and see what she added there. So it's just different ways of doing the same thing, but we wanted to just give you a visual kind of, but I think what we're asking for next week, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, is to add a page, however you want that to look, for your Google info. One of the things that we kind of were doing the very beginning last week, and what we think would be beneficial this time is to look at, are y'all still able to see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is to look at the different templates for the pages, or for the site first. When you create a site, you can choose, let's just say I want to create a new site, and I can go here, I can just have a blank page, a blank template, and build it as I want it. Most of you found this, or you can go here and browse the gallery for more. What that basically does, you can go through here with the schools and education, and you can click on these, and you can see that, all right, this one has a little sidebar over here with some of the navigation. Some of them have the navigation bar at the top. Obviously, they're just kind of decorated different. So that is the site template, and you're welcome to choose one of those or not. So we're going to talk about two different kinds of templates. The first one is the site template, and this template affects your whole Google site. The next thing, and so that's just a personal preference if you want to do that or if you don't. We might look.
I think if you look at the examples from our class,
yes.
Jamie Duckett's and Danielle's they built theirs on a different template. Their navigation bar is across the top, and they've got some different gadgets on there. So if you click through some of the ones that were made by the people in our class, you'll see that what theirs might look like if you used a different template.
Exactly, and I think that'll be time better spent for you to do that, to look through those. But the one thing that I do want to kind of share with you, on just sort of the practice one I made, I added, now there's also what we want to talk about next is a template for each page. When you go in here to add a page, to create a page, it gives you an option here for the template. Now that's just for that page. So if you may have one that you want one kind of page and one that you want to be another. And I did one of each kind just to kind of give you an overview of the first one that they have in that little drop down that you can choose from when you add a page is an announcement page. And I think that probably that's what Lisa used for her blog. And it's sort of, if any of you are Facebook users, it's kind of like a Facebook page where the newest entry's at the top, and it would work well for a blog like Lisa did for her Academy blog. So that's one of your options. The other option that if I were going to do the Google page, this is probably the one I would choose, is the file cabinet page, because it has a place that you can easily add all these different files. You can add a file from your computer. You can add a link, maybe a little YouTube link or a link to some instructional, something you want us to see. Or you can add, if you click Add from Drive, it's going to take you straight to your drive, and I can click on one of these documents that I have in here in my Google Drive and add that right there. So this is just a good general for your Google, where we're going to be adding a doc, a sheet, things like that. So this is one I would recommend when you are thinking about the Google page that you're going to make. The other option you have for a page template is the list, and I'm just going to tell you that if you figure this one out, I'd love to hear that, because I didn't really figure it out.
We have not a clue written on our notes for this
I don't
page.
know about this one, so I didn't have time to delve into that too much. The other one that's a choice is a start page, and this is sort of like on your SchoolWires page, where you can add gadgets. You can add the calendar, you can add a Twitter feed, you can add things like that. So that might be something you want to use later.
It's going to have the look of a web page with a lot of features on there to make it kind of dress it up a little bit.
Right. You might have, it might have, I think there's a counter where you can see how many people have viewed your page, things like that. So the gadgets, that is the start page. And then the last option is web page, and this one just has a text box here. If I go to edit, you'll be able to see it just has a text box here where I could write whatever. And then this one will let me add a file, but it only lets me add a file from my computer. It doesn't let me have the choice of adding something from my Google Drive. So hopefully just the page template, maybe that'll make a little more sense. And like I said, I would recommend the file cabinet for the page that you're going to do for your Google work. So hopefully just seeing how those pages, those page template pages look, hopefully is a little bit helpful. Does anybody have any question about those, or does that make sense, help, whatever?
On the file page, when you, on the file cabinet, like when you add a file and then you click on it, does it like open it in that website, or would it open it like in your Google Drive?
That's a really good question. I'll show you on, for instance, this. I think this one has a link. Oh no, this one, Google Classroom. This one has a link to a YouTube video, and when you click on it, it's going to open. It's going to open it up in a different window.
Mine has some demo classroom,
Okay.
demo docs in it.
We'll look at Jody's. She says she has some docs in there on hers. It will not open it up on the website. Which
Yeah,
one?
That one.
So it will let you.
That's a Google Doc, and it's just going to open.
Okay.
It will let you view
Yeah.
it, and then you'll want to, like if you had your kids do this, they could open it up and go here to File and make a copy of it, and it would be their own.
Okay.
So that's a good way to do that with that file cabinet page. All right. Anybody else? Okay. The other thing that you can do that we should talk about probably is changing the theme. And so if you go to your main main page, and it doesn't have to be your main page, anywhere on your site, and the little settings gear here right beside the share, you can go to Manage Site. And over here on the left at the bottom of this column, there's Themes, Colors, and Fonts. That will let you kind of customize how you want it to look. And it's a time sucker. It will, it'll take a lot of time for you to just play with that. But if you're wondering how somebody changed the colors, the fonts, the things like that, that's where you get that, is in the
Click on that and show where you. Yeah.
Okay, and this little
some
drop down
boxes. And if you choose one, it'll show you how it would change your page while you're still here. It's not permanent, but it's going to show you what it would look like.
That's how mine would look if I changed it. If I don't want to, I'm going to cancel that, and it'll go back to the way it was.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps a little bit. Okay. We're going to stop now. We're going to stop talking and let y'all tell us
Issues that you had this
Yeah.
week that we haven't talked about, questions that you still have. In looking forward, what we're going to ask you to do for next week is add the Google page to your site to house the things that we want you to upload there. We're going to ask you to create a Google Sheet and upload it there. We've got a shared sheet with some ideas and some resources in it that we're going to look at. So looking forward to that, is there anything that you want to ask or that you want to tell us that you learned as you were working on yours this week? We're going to be quiet.
I had a question.
Okay.
On the now this, I'm not a real Google person, but what's the difference in a doc and a sheet when you say you want a sheet this time? What can you kind of explain what the difference in those two are? And
Yes, a Google Sheet is a spreadsheet. It's like Excel.
it'll be a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spreadsheet, I think.
What a
you'll find
spreadsheet!
It is more, it's more user friendly. It does not
Okay.
have all the bells and whistles that Excel does.
Okay.
But it's cleaner, it's simpler. More and more, it will do a lot of the things that Excel will do. I learned at TCEA how to print certificates from the Google Sheet, but it's a spreadsheet. And
Okay.
we're
That
gonna.
makes sense. I was going, what's a sheet?
I didn't know either. And when you look at the icons, they look a lot alike to me too. So I didn't know the difference.
I don't know
either.
why I didn't. Yeah, I should have tied that together.
Yep, that's a good question.
Okay.
Anybody else? Still site questions, things that you ran into? We sat with some folks this week that were completely swamped with and confused about what we wanted them to do, where they were supposed to put it, and what it was supposed to look like. So there's nothing you can ask that's going to stun us. We've already been stunned this week. Yeah, we had to back out and start over this week. So.
Well, I had another question if no one else does.
Go, Leslie.
I was working on my this week's homework, and I did this last week on accident. I don't know how I did it now. Like I said, this is new for me. So if you can point me in the right direction, I added my page, but I can't get it put in the bar. I can't get it. I mean, it shows up when you go in to edit, but I can't get it to show up in the bar. I found it last time, and I just kind of accidentally got into it, but I don't know where it was. Does that make sense? When you add a page, it doesn't necessarily go into the bar, the sidebar.
I think it.
There's something in the edit thing, but I couldn't find it today.
I'm gonna go and look at yours right quick.
Oh no, I just was in there messing with it. Don't. It's probably
Okay,
in the mess.
I won't look at it. We'll look at it and
Okay,
figure it
you
out.
can. It's okay because maybe you can show me what I did wrong.
When I was playing around with mine, I discovered that I was trying to make them not all just be in alphabetical order because it bugged me that they were in alphabetical order. They weren't really, because I wanted the About Me stuff at the bottom of that list of pages, and you can rearrange them.
That's what I was trying to do. There's a little drop-down arrows. You can rearrange it, and I can't find that anymore.
Well, but you can either have that drop-down arrow and show your subpages, or you can organize them manually and not have them in alphabetical order, but you can't have both. So I ran into a little roadblock there myself. But I tell you what we might do, Leslie, is look for maybe some video clips, make a little video clip of how to make those show, how to rearrange them manually, and we can send you that little video clip.
Okay, and I don't mind you looking at it here. I was just kidding. It's open right now because I was playing with it when y'all called me.
Okay, so is it okay if we look?
Yes, it's okay. And also, when I made my new page, it made another navigation bar, and I don't know why it did that this time either. I think I'm just too tired to be doing it right now.
That could be. Never worked on your side. Hard.
It all worked last week, and today it's like not working.
Okay, let's see. We're going to close out mine and Kathy's. Okay.
I think the navigation was the most frustrating part.
Yeah.
Like the pages where.
See that bottom navigation bar that pops up? Well, she lost it. I was trying to get that up in the top where it belongs.
It looks like instead of a page being added, I don't know, I'm going to have to look at that.
I think after you told me about adding the page, I think it's the way I added the
I
page.
don't think
I clicked on the right thing.
Okay. If you go up to the top to the home button up there on the left and maybe add the page there, it will give you the option of adding it as a sub-page, like under resources or homework or that kind of thing, or as that first level.
Yeah. Hers are.
And it did give me that.
Not in alphabetical order.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first time I put it under home.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went and deleted that because that's not where, because it was showing up as a sub-page and didn't show up on that menu.
Yeah, you want it to be at the top level is when it asks you
I want it
to be a sub-page or at the top level. You want it to be at the top level, I think.
Okay.
I will. Thing that Leslie did a good job of is making sure you can see over here when I look at hers that I can't edit it, where some of them.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I supposed to let you edit it?
Huh? No.
Was I supposed to?
You did it the right way. You want it like that.
I found that. Yeah, I just lucked into that too. I just happened to see it.
I can't remember who did and who didn't, but Kim's done hers where we can't edit it, which is good. You don't want us to do that. So I can't remember. Kathy didn't trust us. She didn't let us edit. That's a good thing. I
think I lucked into that one too. Just happened to see it when I was sharing it, maybe.
I'm going to look right here. Okay, Connie's, any of us that have shared it, we can get, I mean, that she shared it with, we can go in and edit it. We could have some fun with her, but we won't do that.
Should go leave her alone.
Yeah.
We're going to leave her alone. But just be sure that you give view rights. Oh, I know one thing. Johnny, can I pick on you for just a second? She didn't say no, so I'm going to.
Sorry, I had it. I'm nodding. Yes, go ahead, anytime.
That's okay. So when I go here to her doc that she added, and there may be times you want to do this, but it's turned on so that I can't edit it, but I can comment on it. And so I could go in here and add comments. So probably you want to fix that where we can only view it and not comment. There's view, edit, or comment, and probably most of them you want to just leave where we can just view. And that is in the this one, the sharing that you want to change is in the doc, not in the site. You've got your site done right, so that we can't edit your site. We just need to put the rights on this Google Doc. Does that make sense? And one thing that you need to be sure and do, only got a couple minutes left, but one thing that, and I can't remember if we talked about this last week, but it's pretty important, so I'm going to go to, Jody's, where I know that she had the doc. No, I'm not. Oh, that's what we need to talk about. I wanted you to make sure that we talk about this. Whenever you, let's say I want to share this doc on my website, when you go to share it, you don't want to just share it with us 11 people, because then eventually when you go to put this on your website for your parents, you want them to be able to see it. So what you're going to do, this is a doc that only specific people can access, only people I've shared it with. What you want to do, if it's something you're going to put on your website, you want to go here and change it to where anyone with the link can access it.
And then you can
change, where you can view, comment, or edit. And so that way, if Grandma is looking at that website, she doesn't have access to it if we just share it with the kids or with each other. But if we go here, anyone that has the link to it would be able to access it. So that's something that I feel like you need to know. And there's, real quick, Jody, you want to show them, we were talking about ideas of ways to use the Google Sheet.
You're going to find if you go to your Google Drive and look in Shared with Me, you are going to find a Google Sheet. Actually, it's a spreadsheet, and it's going to, yep, that's it. Oh, go at this one. It's called Google Sheet Classroom Ideas, and we fixed it where everyone in our group could add the ideas that they find. This first one is one that I added today. The mother of all spreadsheets is one that I worked on with the folks at Bronner. Every teacher in the building enters her own Milers Club data, and this is what that baby looks like. So we just wanted to provide a place where you could see what the ideas that everybody else in the group is coming up with. This is not something that I would recommend you take on first thing, but this is one way that the folks at Bronner are using a Google Sheet. It's a monster spreadsheet that everybody in the building has access to. They are entering their miles for the PE teacher. But this Google Sheet that's in your Shared with Me, that's a place where we want you to go and kind of share the ideas that you're coming up with. This second box right here that you're going to find is a link to the actual Google for Education site, and there is a very clear intro to using sheets and how to just create a basic sheet. So I wanted you to have that link, and if you will, as you come across ideas for using Google Sheets in your classrooms, if you'll come to this shared spreadsheet and just grab a cell, type in the idea, taking lunch counts and having the cafeteria lady be able to see them. If it's a specific grade level, that you think it would work with, tell us that. Tell us if it would work with, what content area you're thinking about. And then if there's something about that idea that you would like the rest of us to chime in on, maybe there's something that you're curious about, how that might play out, type your question in that box as well. So that's,
show them one more time how to get to that.
Okay, that's going to be in your Google Drive under Shared with Me. And I know we're out of time. My timer's flashing at me. We got a notice this week. We've been telling everybody all along that the new view for Google Drive, this said incoming. Well, apparently there has been quite a lot of pushback about that, and so the folks at Google have changed this back, and it says Shared with Me now. So you're going to look in Shared with Me, and you're looking for that Google Classroom, Google Sheet Classroom Ideas, and it'll show up right there. I think it's Manel shared it because she made it, but you'll find that in Shared with Me. And we just want you to take some notes there, jot down as many ideas as you come up with and can find, and then you're welcome to look back here and see what the rest of the group is coming up with. And if you find something that would work for your classroom, that might be what you want to do for this week's assignment for your Google Sheets. And we'll be adding to this as the week rolls on. If we're at home tomorrow in our pajamas, we'll add some ideas here. So don't forget to check here to see some updates. And we need to talk briefly about next week. And I feel again like we've just talked for the whole 30 minutes. Between now and the next time we get together, which will be the Wednesday or Thursday after spring break, please don't spend your spring break working on your Google site, but sometime between now and 2 weeks from today, if you will add a page to your website, you can call it your Google Academy work, you can call it Google Suite, you can call it whatever you want to. You can go back and look at some of the other examples we talked about today, but add a page for your Google work. If you didn't load your Google Doc that you made this past week, if you'll move that to that page so it'll all kind of be together, and then look at Google Sheets, do some investigation, see how a spreadsheet like that might work with your classes or with your colleagues, however you can apply that, and create a Google Sheet, and then load that on your Google Sites page as well. And that's what we'd like you to concentrate on between now and 2 weeks from now.
And that's all on that Google Classroom page. We posted that just a little while ago.
Yeah, we've put the assignment in the Google Classroom. Oh, and after you've done all that, if you'll go back into Classroom and click that you're done, Manel will give you a grade. She wants to give you bad grades, but I won't let her. I told her. I said, don't give them a bad grade. Give them 100. So.
Thank y'all so much.
Everybody stay warm. If you have questions, you want us to come hang out with you, just email us, call us. We'll show up.
We may show up even if you don't.
Yeah, we may.
Okay. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.